Teacher salaries. That's something that you're hearing more and more about, especially during the past few years with the pandemic. Teachers are beginning to wonder whether they can really stay in the profession that they love. The reason being that the salaries don't allow them to do the things that they want to do. It doesn't also automatically provide them with the funds needed for their families. So I want to spend a few minutes talking about teacher salaries, the differences between public school salaries and those in Catholic schools. When we look at salaries in a public school, they're generally much higher, but not in all jurisdictions. The challenge for a Catholic school administrator or a private school administrator is to determine, can they provide salaries that are competitive with the public schools? Some schools have decided that they will try to match at least 70%. Some will go 80%, some will go 90%. That impacts a lot of other things in the school's budget. So let's take a look at a few samples of teacher salaries. Screen, what you'll see is a listing of the average teacher salaries in 2021. Now, what you'll notice is that the highest average teacher salary is in New York at $85,889. Now, you look at that and go, that's amazing. That's the average. That means there's people above that and people below that, but that's the average teacher salary. Now, when you go down that list, you'll see California at $83,000. Going down to Washington is $73,000. Maryland, $70,000. Alaska, $70,000. Pennsylvania, $68,000. You start going down the list and you'll see Ohio at $59,000. New Hampshire at $59,000. You'll start looking at Georgia, $57,000. Nebraska, $54,000. Texas, $54,000. North Carolina, $53,000. Virginia, $53,000. Now, some of you who might live in the Maryland, D.C. area might look at that and say, that's amazing, because when you consider that Virginia, the average teacher salary is $53,000, but yet when we looked at Maryland at the top of the screen, you'll see $70,000. Again, a big differential. You go down to Carolina, South Carolina, you'll see $50,000. You go down the list again, Arkansas, $49,000. Florida, a highly populated state, $48,000. West Virginia, $40,000. And the lowest is in Mississippi at $45,000. Now, again, you have to remember that what you see on the screen is the average teacher salary. That means there are some making more, but some making less. And when you look at Mississippi and West Virginia, New Mexico, you think, wow, in many jurisdictions, the starting salary is that. These are the average salaries. Now, again, the cost of living in those areas is slightly less than you would find in New York or in Massachusetts. But again, interesting information to consider when you are looking at how do you develop a compensation package for your teachers. Now that you've taken a look at what the national teacher averages are, let's look specifically at some salary scales to see what the public schools are offering, and then we'll take a look at those salary scales from Catholic schools. Now on the screen, what you'll see is the salary scale for teachers in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. You'll see a step, and then you'll see the other categories: non-certified, certified bachelor's degree, certified master's degree, certified master's degree plus 30 and higher. That means if you've worked and you've completed your doctorate, you'd be in that category. So the first year you're there, you start off at step 0. Your base salary, if you're a non-certified teacher, that means you have a degree in English, but you really never got your certification. Your salary is $37,500. And if you look down that column, what you'll see is your salary stays the same. So they do that to encourage you to become a certified teacher. Otherwise, you could be working there for 25 years and still get a salary of $37,500. Now you look at the next category, certified bachelor's degree, and you'll see the base starts off as $47,000, and then each year they increase the step. Every time you move up a step, they increase it by $500. So if you're there for 25 years, you have a salary of $60,000. Now, if you went on and got your master's, honestly, it's only worth $500 to you a year. So again, your starting salary is $47,500. Now, if you've gone on and gotten your doctorate, the difference between your salary and a certified bachelor's degree candidate, basically, it's $1,000. So you'll look on this particular salary scale and see that every year they've decided to go ahead and increase it by $500. So that means that if you have a doctorate and you've been teaching in this system for 25 years, your salary is $61,000. If you didn't go get your master's plus 30 or your doctorate, you're getting $60,000. Now, in this particular case, it doesn't really encourage teachers to get advanced degrees because the salary differential isn't that much. That's a consideration for school boards and administrators to consider when you're revising your annual teacher salary scale. Now, on this screen, you'll see the salary scale for teachers in Montgomery County, Maryland. Now, you'll look here again and you'll see the salary steps: bachelor's degree, master's equivalent plus 30, and basically master's equivalent plus 60, which is basically a doctorate. Now, what you'll notice in this particular case is they do not have a scale for teachers who are non-certified. So they require you to be certified in Montgomery County. Now, you'll see there, step 1 in this jurisdiction, their starting salary is $52,286. Now, when you look at their master's degree or equivalent, you'll see that differential is over $5,000. You go on to the master's equivalent plus 30, and again, it's almost $7,000 difference from the bachelor's degree. And if you have a doctorate, you're looking at over $8,000 difference. So in this particular jurisdiction, they seem to really want people to get advanced degrees. Now, you'll also notice that in each step, you look from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. Each year, it's slightly more. That's considered a step increase. So that means if you survive from year 1 to year 2, that will be your salary. Now, most jurisdictions also include possibly an additional amount of money for cost of living based on the rate of inflation. Since the rate of inflation has gone up so dramatically in the last year, those numbers will most likely change next year to reflect the national economy. Now, you'll also notice something interesting, that in this jurisdiction, you're allowed to just have a bachelor's degree up to 10 years. After that particular time, you would only get a cost of living. There would be no step increase. But you'll see, if you are on step 10, that's $69,000. Now, all the other scales go to year 25. So you'll see each step in each category. That's important for you to understand as an administrator, because as you develop your budget, you have to consider the people that you have on staff, but also the people that you're hiring. Where do they fit on this particular scale? So let's say that I'm bringing someone in that has 15 years of experience and they have a doctorate. Well, my budget has to reflect that I'm going to have an expense of $99,963 just in salary. Now, if I bring on somebody with a master's degree at that same step, they've been teaching for 15 years, then the salary that they're required to receive is $97,526. So again, most teachers, when the annual salary scales come out, they just kind of nod and say, all right, that's fine. But when you look at this and say, what am I going to do as a professional? Is it beneficial for me to get advanced degrees? In this jurisdiction, it absolutely is. Because of the fact that there's a substantial difference between, again, the straight bachelor's versus a master's plus. Important things to remember as you develop and analyze your own school's salary scale. Now that you've seen a typical public school salary scale, let's take a look at a public school salary scale and a Catholic school salary scale side by side and see the differences and similarities between them. On the screen on your left, you'll see the public school salary scale for teachers in Springfield, Illinois. On the right, you'll see the salary scale for teachers in the Diocese of Springfield, Illinois. Now, both have, again, the steps, master's, bachelor's, and again, you'll see the differences there between the public school model and the Catholic school model. Bachelor's degree, both have it. Master's degree, and then again, the Diocese of Springfield has a few other categories in there. And then you'll also see there is no category for Master's plus 30 or a doctorate in the Diocese of Springfield, but there is for the public school. So you look at the starting teacher salary for the public school is $39,000 versus $29,000 for a teacher who works for the Diocese of Springfield. Now, if you have a master's degree in the public school, it's $43,869. In the Catholic school, it's $32,726. Now, that's on step one. When you get to 10 years, a 10-year teacher who just has a bachelor's degree in the public school system is making $47,506. Catholic school teacher with a bachelor's degree is making $35,322. Now, if you have a master's degree in the public school and you've been in there 10 years, Your salary is $53,428. In the Diocese of Springfield, your master's allows you a salary of $39,504. The reason I bring this up is because one of the challenges that we have in Catholic schools and in private schools is to make sure that we find ways to adequately compensate our teachers. And it's difficult when you put our salaries up against those of the public school. Now, again, this is one jurisdiction. It varies throughout the country. In areas like Maryland and Northern Virginia, you'll find that those salary scales are a lot closer. But in so many other jurisdictions, the salary scales are vastly different. And that's the challenge for administrators. Now that we've looked at national averages, looked at public school teacher salary scales, and a Catholic school teacher salary scale, you as the principal, the head of the school, need to ensure that your salaries are, one, competitive, and two, are consistent with your school's mission. The key to doing that is designing a compensation philosophy which identifies your goal, where you want your teachers to be in terms of a fair and just wage. As an administrator, you need to make sure that your teachers receive a fair wage. In this day and age, teachers have so many different opportunities to make more money outside of the classroom setting. As the head of the institution, you need to give them a reason to stay. The salary and benefits are one part of that equation. As always, if you have any questions or comments for me, please don't hesitate to let me know. Thank you for listening.